There are footballers who win trophies. And then there are the few who redraw the limits of the game itself, who make you question what a single human being can do on a pitch. Cristiano Ronaldo is one of those few. For more than 2 decades across 4 countries and 3 continents, he did not just compete at the top of football. He redefined the top. He won everything the club game could offer in every league he ever graced. He broke records that were supposed to be unbreakable. He scored more goals than any man in the history of the sport. And still, after all of it, one dream stayed just beyond his reach: the World Cup. This is the story of the greatest goal scorer football has ever seen, and the one trophy that got away. It began with a skinny teenager from Madeira, all tricks and stepovers, who arrived at Manchester United in 2003 carrying a number 7 that had belonged to legends. He grew into the best player in the world under its weight: a Premier League, a first Champions League in the Moscow reign of 2008, and his first Ballon d'Or at 23. He had conquered England, so he went looking for more. At Real Madrid, Ronaldo became something close to a force of nature. 450 goals, the greatest goal scorer in the entire history of the most successful club on earth. 4 Champions Leagues in 5 seasons, 3 of them in a row, a feat the modern game was not supposed to allow. Ballon d'Or after Ballon d'Or, until he had 5, trading blows with a lifelong rival and defining an entire era between them. Then Italy and Juventus and 2 more league titles. A 3rd country conquered: England, Spain, Italy. Wherever he went, the trophies followed. By the end, the numbers read like fiction. 5 Champions Leagues, 5 Ballon d'Ors, more than 900 career goals. There was almost nothing left to win. And for Portugal, he answered the oldest question of all: could he do it for his country? In 2016, he did. A European Championship, the first major trophy in his nation's history, even as he watched the final itself from the touchline, injured, in tears, reduced to a cheerleader for the team he had carried there. 3 years later, the Nations League followed. He was never a man who failed on the international stage. He was a man who had won on it, which is exactly why the one remaining gap cuts so deep, because the World Cup is different. It comes once every 4 years. It does not care how many Champions Leagues sit in your cabinet. It was the one stage where Ronaldo, for all his greatness, could never quite write the ending he wanted. His pursuit had begun 20 years earlier. 2006, a 21-year-old reaching a semi-final before France ended it. It felt like a beginning. It turned out to be as close as he would ever come. 2010, knocked out in the last 16 by Spain. 2014, gone in the group stage. 2018 brought the night people still replay. A hat trick against Spain, a ferocious 88th minute free kick, a 3-all classic, and still elimination days later. And 2022, the cruelest of all, dropped to the bench for the knockouts, watching from the sideline as Morocco sent Portugal home. He left the pitch that night in tears. Most of us thought that was goodbye. Wasn't. 4 years later, at 41, he returned for a 6th World Cup, a number no player in history had ever reached. And this time, Portugal truly believed. Around their captain stood a squad in its prime. Bruno Fernandes, Bernardo Silva, Vitinha, Nuno Mendes, quality in every line. Ronaldo was scoring again, becoming the first man ever to find the net at 6 different World Cups, striking his first ever knockout goal against Croatia. One final chance to complete the one thing missing. And then the draw delivered the obstacle nobody wanted. Spain, not villains, simply the finest team left in the tournament. This was not the fragile Spain of years past. This was a side that had rediscovered exactly who it was. Patient, suffocating, technically perfect. 4 matches, 4 clean sheets, not a single goal conceded on the road to Dallas. A midfield that treats the ball like private property. A defensive shape that never fractures. And at its heart, 18-year-old Lamine Yamal, a 2-time Copa Trophy winner and Ballon d'Or runner-up, already spoken of as the future of the sport. Spain did not overwhelm opponents. They dissolved them. To finally win the World Cup, Ronaldo would have to pass the tournament's most complete team. It was the hardest possible way for the story to reach its end. For 89 minutes in Dallas, Portugal did everything right. They sat deep, stayed compact, and made the game narrow and tense, exactly the fight they needed. Diogo Costa was magnificent, save after save keeping the dream breathing. Ronaldo fired 7 shots at a night that would not yield. Portugal fought and fought brilliantly. But Spain never panicked because panic is simply not in them. They kept the ball, kept their shape, kept asking the same question, knowing a wall can only hold for so long. Then in stoppage time it broke, fresh legs against tired ones. Luis de la Fuente's substitutes Ferran Torres and Mikel Merino decided it. Torres slid a pass through and Merino, unmarked, finished at the near post. 90 minutes and 1-0. Spain did not steal this. They earned it, exactly as they had earned everything else in this tournament. And with that whistle, the one chapter Ronaldo could never write closed for good. No World Cup, the single missing line on the most decorated career the game has ever produced. But greatness was never the sum of every trophy won. He is still a European champion, still the most prolific international goalscorer in the history of football, still the only man to score at 6 different World Cups across 20 years. Still the standard an entire generation grew up chasing, the living proof of what obsession and refusal and belief could build. The World Cup eluded him. Almost nothing else ever did. In Dallas, the cameras followed him one last time as he walked toward the tunnel, head bowed, another team's celebration ringing out behind him. It is a quiet image for so loud a career. But football is not a fairy tale. It does not promise the perfect ending even to its greatest stories. Sometimes it leaves them, deliberately, achingly, unfinished. Cristiano Ronaldo never lifted the World Cup. And yet a century from now, when the game looks back, that is not the sentence it will begin with. It will speak of the goals no one could stop, the years no one could outlast, the bar he raised for everyone who came after. The one dream got away. Everything else he took and kept.